welcome back to the Western Clash at the Blizzard Arena in Burbank. I'm Gilly Weed here to host the next segment. Joining me are Tetcher and Kala. Tetcher, I'm sensing some open division pride for our next match.
You might be, due to the fact that these two teams who are going to be playing right now are both originally from the open division. They thought their way up, and now they have fought their way to an international event. And that might mean, as Kala, he casts HGC North American Open Division, I cast European Open Division. Might mean there's a little biased, but no.
I definitely don't think there's a bias
yeah,
at all.
We've decided to team up against you.
What? At 2, Kala?
Yeah, we... Absolutely, no, definitely. You know, it's a really cool story whenever you see an open division team come to a point like this. This is the Western Clash, ladies and gentlemen. That's a huge moment for an open division team. Yeah, HeroesHearth, you know, they've had a lot of time to work their way up, but the likes of Leftovers, this is kind of like a first moment for them.
Well, not even that. They are HeroesHearth, they being, are the #1 team out of North America, so that is quite the climb for them. As we can look at the brackets, here's where they will be trying to climb through. We just saw Team Dignitas win 2-0 versus Octalysis earlier today, and then Method getting a 2-1 victory over Tempo Storm. What do you guys think about that last match?
That was a fantastic match. The fact that Method were able to get the Urel 3 times in a row was already quite surprising to me, but then that Tempo were able to take it with just bringing the pain with the Sergeant Hammer was superb.
I thought that Tempo Storm, they played their most of the early games quite well. It's just, it fell apart in certain moments. When you're playing against Europe, you actually can't, you make one mistake, okay, that's fine, as long as it's not a fatal mistake, but you make 2 mistakes, that can be the game. And we saw some circumstances when you're playing against like the likes of an Abathur, you die one time and you're down so far, or you die one time against something that even isn't an Abathur during the late game, and it can result in similar things.
Well, our next match will be HeroesHearth Esports versus the Leftovers, and as you alluded to, there's a lot of similarities between these two teams. You know, at the last Western Clash, HeroesHearth Esports had 2 new members on LAN. And now Leftovers have to go through that with DAB and Podyboss, and that's not where the similarities stop. Mopsio was talking about that, Tetcher.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact is that Mopsio was here at the last Western Clash. He was able to pull off a miraculous tournament run with Zealots, who came in as one of the lower seeds and then made it all the way to the finals. However, we spoke to him before the tournament began, and he said that this is not the goal for this time. The goal is to learn, go as far as they can, of course, but they're not chasing down that same kind of miraculous performance. They're here to learn, they're here to experience, and do as best as they can. Well,
this may well be the only initial series of the 4 that is truly North American biased in the favor, but we'll see what the Leftovers can bring to HeroesHearth Esports in this next best of 3.
My name is Mark Shepets, my in-game name is Linked, and I play the support role for Team Leftovers. The team atmosphere for us right now is like we're just coming here to learn, improve, and chill actually. We don't expect much since we have new players in the team, so our goal is just to try to beat some NA teams and do our best.
I'm Maxim Mopsia-Szypa, and I'm a main tank for Leftovers. ADR taught me the way how to teach people the basics of the game, how to teach the people which were considered as the worst players, to show them how to play the game properly, how to approach the top level strategies, and how to develop the best gameplay possible. And that's something what I'm doing right now with Leftovers, and we benefit from that by qualifying for this event.
So playing against HeroesHearth, it's going to be a tough match since they're the best NA team right now. But their playstyle is a lot macro-wise, so if we can get an early game advantage, then we can maybe snowball and beat them at their own game. Linked here from Team Leftovers. Guys, cheer for us, because we're going to beat NA today.
My name is Khalif Crowan Hashim, and I play Ranged Assassin for HeroesHearth Esports. I believe that being the #1 seed from North America does add some pressure. A lot of people just on social media and like fans and stuff will look to us and say like, you are the hope of North America, and it's a little bit weird. We just try to, you know, play, you know, our best, always try to still improve, but there is a little bit of inherent added pressure when you are the top of your region because you are the hope to do well internationally at that point. So try not to let those people down.
My name is Chris Martin. My gamertag is Ishbu, and I play tank for HeroesHearth Esports. The main goal we're looking at is at least a top 3 finish. We really think that would be, it's a step above anything we've done and a step above anything NA has done, which are both important for us in proceeding. As for surprises, I think there could be a few. I mean, Leftovers has the Mopsio factor, which led Zealots onto a surprise run before. So as much as I like my boy Mopsio, I'm afraid we're probably going to have to send him home early. He's enjoying his vacation in NA, but we're going to make sure it's a proper vacation, I think. So going into this tournament, I think it's just really awesome to emphasize all the things that have gotten us here. That's our work as a team, but also the support we've had from you as the community, from all our fans, and from all the people you probably don't see directly on stage, including our coach, our managers, the Heroes Hearth owners themselves. So I really just want to take this time to speak out to them and say thank you for all you've done. You can continue, if you want to keep supporting us, we have a lot of avenues, but for right now, we're going to do our best to not let you down at this tournament and to show off. So go Heroes Hearth. Let's go.
We welcome to the stage the Leftovers. Leftovers surprised a lot of people when they reverse swept Fnatic during league play in a match that ultimately determined who got that 4th spot from Europe here at the Western Clash. This team is not afraid to bring a fight, and Heroes Hearth needs to be aware of some of the powerful picks that got the Leftovers here to Burbank. Now, please join me in greeting their opponents, Heroes Hearth Esports. Heroes Hearth is a fan favorite team. We heard them talking about it, and the favorites for this match is the #1 seed from North America. But with that being said, can the theme of being in a hope of increasing expectations for themselves, Kala, can that be what affects their mentality here?
I think definitely it can go either way. Personally, I would like to see some of these NA teams step it up when it comes to confidence. I think that Heroes Hearth can enter into this series and just absolutely blow away their opponents. I think Heroes Hearth is a step above every other team in North America, so why wouldn't they be able to? When I think it was Ishbu talking about being the hope of North America. Yes, that's true, but I want to see them just prove it. I want to see them destroy European teams. Not actually, like, I want to see them have that kind of mentality entering into these games.
Tetra, do you share that bias?
Have a guess. No, absolutely not. I would love to see a really close and interesting contest between these two teams. Leftovers, they're here to learn, but it would be nice to see them put up a really good fight against Heroes Hearth. If they can snuff out the flame that is Heroes Hearth, then that'd be really, really interesting for how the tournament goes from here. But otherwise, Heroes Hearth, I really do like the attitude they've come into the tournament with. We spoke to them earlier, and even with them being called the hope of NA, as it were, their opinion was they're still chasing.
Yeah.
They're not just chasing the victory here of being the best in NA. They still have so far to go in terms of the European teams, the Korean teams. They are here to learn as well, even though they are the top seed from NA.
I was just trying to break up that synergy, the open division synergy of earlier. We're ready to get into this best of 3 between the Leftovers and Heroes Hearth Esports. And the Battleground pool is as such. Heroes Hearth going to ban Baraxis Holdout. Leftovers have banned Dragonshire. We're going to Towers of Doom, chosen by Heroes Hearth. This is a Battleground that Heroes Hearth has felt comfortable on before. What jumps out to you guys for Towers of Doom, Kala?
Towers of Doom, I think, is just one of those kind of standard maps at this point. I don't think there's anything too crazy about the pick. I just think that it's something that you can enter into. You can draft some. You can ban off Abathur. You can just draft a normal style composition. You don't have to show anything, and it can just be a very effective starting tool.
For me, the most interesting thing for this series is the pacing of the games, because Heroes Hearth has been playing a lot of scaling comps that hit 10, hit the gas. And when you look at the Leftovers, it's like out the gates, flooring it, and then they hit the cruise control. But there's always a mid-game fight where either they're going to win it and sail off into the distance, or they're going to veer off the road because they lose it. And my big question is, if Heroes Hearth continues to play scaling comps, we should have a lot of explosive play in the mid-game.
What's also worth mentioning, though, is the fact that Leftovers aren't actually that experienced on this map this phase. They've actually only been able to play it once in this entire phase, where they did win, But the fact is, HeroesHearth are coming in with a little more experience here as we are rushing through these early bans. Abathur, one of the most standard bans on this map, full stop. And Genji, it's Genji. Getting him removed is not the most surprising thing in the world.
And you see, you mentioned yourself, Gilly, the fact that HeroesHearth likes playing those scaling style of compositions.
Yes.
You see that Abathur ban, you see the Zeratul ban. So take away those high volatility picks from HeroesHearth. I love that opener so far from Leftovers, as well as the Diablo pick. Lots of geometry on this map, lots of fights that take place over, parts of the map where you can actually just get a lot of value out of the Diablo. The response pick of Garrosh and Maiev, so lots of team fight control for HeroesHearth early on in this draft.
Which is a lot different from what HeroesHearth have shown in the past, at least through league play. But something that was really interesting to me that they said when we were talking to them is that they change up their drafts when they come to a LAN environment, and this is definitely a change up for them, seeing something that can bring in the aggression early on. Now Yrel and Deckard Cain, 3 very objectively strong picks that Leftovers get, and Mopsio gets something that he can be super aggressive with that Diablo. What do you think, Catcher?
It very much opens the opportunity for them to go for some kind of burst comp if they want to, and it can also set up for a hero like the Reyna, who has been left available, but HeroesHearth banning the Medivh, one of the more scary engage tools with a Diablo and of course the Deckard Cain. So banning that away actually opens them up to potentially take away that Reyna, remove all those slow synergy heroes. But of course that leaves potentially heroes like Sergeant Hammer again, as we did see earlier today.
We talked about Leftovers talked about the fact that they don't want HeroesHearth to be able to macro them to death. Look at the bans from Leftovers. If that's not indicative of saying, I want to find team fights against you and you're not allowed to play macro, what else would be? I love the fact that Leftovers have responded so far with this style of banning. As far as the Medivh goes, we've already seen that pick show up with the likes of Deckard Cain, so this is fantastic. Blaze and Reynar, exactly.
But it leaves up Blaze, and undefeated are HeroesHearth Esports with Blaze in Phase 1. Yes, Yrel is seen as the objectively strongest pick as that solo laner, but for HeroesHearth, they love Blaze and will play it whenever they get the chance. We'll see if maybe we see some Divine Steed play as a way for Leftovers to try to get the win on the rotations from that top laner, but now getting Greymane and Li Ming gives a lot of volatility to close out this Leftovers draft.
With the removal of that Reyna, they have to move away from the more sustained team fight style with that ace in the hole value, and instead straight in for burst. The Greymane, a huge punishing tool for that Reyna. If he can't get his heal up, which is a heal over time, he's in trouble. Maiev, once she's used that Vault of the Wardens, then she is also an incredibly vulnerable target. Blaze and Garrosh and whatever we end up seeing HeroesHearth going for to support are going to have their work cut out for them. They need something to protect against the burst. Going to go with Stukov, bio kill switch for the protection.
Very interesting.
The one hero I was concerned about coming into this match for HeroesHearth, if they were going to succeed, because I do think they're favored, unless Leftovers get Blakitny on Maiev. His Maiev, the way that they either play Warden's Cage defensively or offensively and comboed with things like Deckard Cain, with Diablo, they are so good at team fighting with that. So it's great to see that HeroesHearth is not only willing to play a different style of draft than what we've seen from Phase 1, but also that they are willing to play that Maiev and steal it away from Blakitny. What do you guys think? Kala, we'll start with you. How are you feeling? Do you feel like there is a draft that's favored here?
HeroesHearth draft is absolutely fantastic. I think that they have all of the tools to succeed here, but at the same time, you're playing against this composition that can one-shot people. You have a lot of control with the Deckard Cain for the likes of something like a Maiev or even a Stukov Blaze. Like, all of the heroes on HeroesHearth can be shut down by the roster of Leftovers. You've also got that burst onto Garrosh. You know, maybe it's the Cursed Bullet. Li Ming as well. Her damage represents before the armor from Garrosh can really kind of gain value there. So I personally think that Leftovers also have the tools, but I gotta give it to HeroesHearth with their draft.
Touch your final thoughts?
I love HeroesHearth's draft, but I'm wondering what the follow-up for the Maiev is. I might like to see them go for some isolation style, maybe as opposed to the Warden's Cage, because otherwise they're going to be very reliant on those Blaze stuns, but I do still prefer their draft at least a little bit. But burden of execution for Leftovers, if they can execute this comp well, it could very much turn it around.
Well, thank you guys very much. I'll check back in with you after Game 1. For now, let's head over to the casters for Game 1 between HeroesHearth Esports and the Leftovers.
Welcome in here to this series of teams from the Open Division. I have got Haloran, my man beside me, our first time officially casting together, but not our first time together. As many don't know, we go way back. It's good to have you here, man. What do you think so far between these drafts?
I'm really excited for this matchup. HeroesHearth may not have asked to be in Ace Hope, but they definitely deserve that title, and they've earned it by how incredibly well they continue to play this game. Anytime they show up, they do better and better. If they have aspirations of making it to the top 3, making it to BlizzCon, they need to have a really strong performance here. I think they can do it.
Well, we're going to find out just how well they do. They are cool, calm, and collected as we approach this game. We talked to them right before, and they looked ready to go, and it will be that of Krohn. We know what he can do. He's going to be on the Rainer. Ishbu will have a lot on his hands with Mopsio on the other side, but he's going to be on the Garage here. Of course, we do have McIntyre. He'll be on the Blaze. BBJ supporting on the Stukov, but Arthlon, the playmaker on Maiev, we have seen him in the past be a significant margin of error for the other team. We'll see if it comes out here.
Over on the right side, we've got EU represented by the Leftovers. Potoboss is on Urel. DAB is playing Li Ming. We got Linked. He's going to be on Decker Kane. Potoball, Black Kidneys on Greymane, and Mopsio round things out with Diablo.
Look, man, I've said it for a long time. DAB won my heart over at the early part of this year before Leftovers really had the come up, which is after they picked up Mopsio. And it is a treat to see him here in person. He has earned his way here. He's going to see what he can do as this game goes on.
One of the things he pointed out is that he did not want to imitate Zealots' run, but he definitely has the capability of doing that. It's not exactly a surprise that he's going to be able to get back here. A nice knock-up stun from Ishbu. The silence goes in. BBJ is going to be the target. There's the root, and he's going to be the first to get taken down.
This is not a good spot if you are a Heroes Hearth fan, as Krohen's going to be the second to fall. DAB looking to get those resets, and it looked like things were in favor of Heroes Hearth at the beginning of that, but what we heard from Tetcher was is the amount of follow-up that you need on these engagements between a Maiev and a Garrosh. Is there enough damage behind that? They should have had a kill there. Anybody else, maybe that's different, but as many changes as we've seen towards Rainer, there just wasn't enough pop there, and Leftovers comes out hitting hard with the double.
If you're a fan of NA, if you want the #1 seed to have a strong showing, that is not the start that you expect to have happen. Leftovers have to feel pretty good about that. They go ahead and get the Sapper camp. Heroes Hearth, they're looking to do the same, but this is a team that loses heroes early often. They always show up in the mid to late game and then become this whole other team. They're going to have to do that again here.
It's always cool because we get to talk to these guys quite a bit because they went a lot during league play. As we've got another fight here, Blakitney, he's going to use the disengage there on to Greymane, but a massive Arcane Orb comes in there to chunk down the health bar of BBJ. But Ishbu, they joke about it a lot, this Heroes Hearth teams. They say, if we're not down 3 levels, we're not going to win. So they're used to being down and coming back. Early deficit, but definitely we're still just getting this game underway as Alter Phase will be getting that timer in the near future.
Yeah, if you're a Heroes Hearth fan, you know they've been here before, but it's also not surprising with these heroes. There's a huge advantage, in my opinion, for Leftovers with this composition. Greymane does damage right out of the gate. You catch an orb from Li Ming, find yourself waiting to respawn sooner rather than later. You need taunt, you need some of these other options available for Heroes Hearth composition before they really hit their full stride. I don't think we should be too surprised right now.
I was about to say, you know, when you're on Diablo, you get flipped in, you can generally charge your way out. Instead, he went in willingly. Now BBJ, he's under assault. There's Blakitney, he's trying to make plays, but Ishbu and team, they're trying to track him down. It looks like they're going to be able to do just that on the backside, though. Stukov does fall in the middle of that engagement. 2-for-1 trade, though, in favor of Heroes Hearth.
In the moment, it looked a little brazen from Blakitney. He's like, I left my stove on. I should probably get out of here, but the follow-up rotation is going to allow the 1-for-1 trade. Ishbu channeling the target. Link says, not so much. You're going to have to wait on all that. Level 6 is now picked up for Heroes Hearth. And Ishbu knows there's no way he's capturing this as of right now. He's just kind of holding things down.
Well, Heroes Hearth made an attempt. They used the Maiev to get one last interrupt onto Urel to see if they could force out the rotation, deny that quicker rotation for Leftovers. Instead, Leftovers, they're able to get down here. Arthel on tap, but that did buy enough time, enough zoning control. Heroes Hearth goes up 4 shots here on Leftovers here in game #1.
Despite losing heroes early on, they're definitely on track to have a very successful game. This is, again, how they're going to end up being until they get to level 10. Once Taunt gets added to the silence that we've already seen BBJ net value off of with Stukov, their lethality is only going to go up from there.
I'm just surprised. You know, Leftovers and Method, the 2 teams that didn't come to boot camp here in North America, And for Heroes Hearth and Tempo Storm, the two best teams in North America, we're so used to seeing Urel banned here in NA, but for Leftovers and Method, they're afraid of this EU meta that could potentially come out, but the Urel has shown very strong in these last few series in favor of Europe. We'll continue to see what Boss can do as this game goes on, but the Urel, Heroes Hearth and Tempo Storm both willing to play into it so far.
Both teams now around the corner of level 7. Ishbu took the quest talent at level 1. He's already almost completed that bad boy. The silence goes in. BBJ is going to be able to capture that. The shadow charge. Mopsio looks to get involved. There's the overpower. A nice root from Decker Kane. Umbral Bind is going to bring a lot of attention over onto Mopsio, but he is going to be able to get out.
Oh, Ishbu is trying to get the heals, does get the toss back. Blakitny continuing to go in. The resets on the ban were there for Arthalon, but the entire time, McIntyre trying to zone, trying to get something down. He's going to be the first to fall. There should be back up in time for the altar phase, but Leftovers, they are making this game messy by bringing the constant aggression. It's something that, despite Mopsio not wanting to repeat the Zealots history that we saw on his previous team at last Western Clash, make no mistake about it, some of their best chances are to just flat out go in, take your chances, and when you have a Diablo, Greymane, Li Ming, you are looking to fight.
Yeah, he may not be looking to imitate Zealous, but he's just an aggressive player. Again, he goes in with the Shadow Charge, the overpower follow-up, the combination's not exactly there. Stukov uses the silence, and then a Fray sends Crone to the back line. The slow goes down from Blaze. Blakitny out in the flank, putting damage on the Arthalon, but he's not in threat of a takedown.
McIntyre should be able to step forward if they need that. There's going to be one interrupt. Will buy some time, but the zoning of Mopsio and Boss are enough to even this game up, and we might have another fight here. Ishbu seems like he's lost. He went down, went up, and he's like, guys, I don't have an escape route here. And so Leftovers gets another kill. They are up 5 kills to 2 in this game, despite it not netting a lot in terms of core health. You can start to see the structure start to fall, the control, the experience starting to take favor in favor of Leftovers.
Ishbu with the Wilson the volleyball cosplay, getting caught out on an island. That's not how you want to rotate if you're playing Garrosh, but that's exactly what Mopsio is going to be looking for when he plays Diablo. If he can bank you into that wall, you're definitely going to get taken down immediately afterwards. But again, Heroes Hearth, they find themselves in a pretty compromised position, down an entire level, but like we were talking about, Jay, they feel comfortable.
You really think about the scaling of these two teams, and when these teams really start to come on, the healing doesn't really change a lot for Stukov post 16. Obviously, the sustain is there. Maiev, playmaking potential is there from level 1. Raynor, I mean, obviously he's got a strong level 1. It pairs well with his level 7, but the scaling options of these teams, it seems like it's going to favor Leftovers as Diablo starts to scale up. Li Ming starting to get those big power spikes. Greymane, what he can bring to the table. And then, of course, Decker Kane, he likes to read some books and have other people listen along with him. We'll see if story time becomes there, I think, for Heroes Hearth.
Single altar in the bottom lane will be here in 27 seconds. More than enough time for Heroes Hearth to be able to get their R keys. Also, this is going to be a defining moment in this team fight. If they lose Heroes in a decisive fashion again here, I'm beginning to get a little worried.
Right now, Leftovers continue to keep up the aggression, but we've got a full-on team fight. Stay a while and listen. We'll keep Blakitny alive for a while. He's needing to swipe away. Does not get away in time, so that's going to be Greymane the first to fall. Lightning Breath comes out from Mopsio as BBJ gets a big old stiff arm to send Li Ming and DAB clear to the other side of the map while the fight goes on.
Ishbu goes for the taunt, says disparaging comments about Decker Kane's reading skills. That's going to be 2 heroes down on the side of Leftovers. Boss looks to be the next target. There's the Ardent Defender. A nice stun on the Ishbu. He throws Mopsio out of the way to be able to ensure his escape, but that's a nice team fight for Heroes, so if they can turn down and get this altar.
It seems like they are working to get into position to reclaim the lead in this game, but Boss, Ardent Defender, that is a 2-minute cooldown now. Has to be careful with that positioning. Stun comes down. There's the slow from the oil and the lurking arm. I think Heroes Hearth knows when to walk away, and they're going to do that. They have their lead. No need in risking it going into the always lethal combo of a Li Ming Diablo. So they walk away from that fight, but they do gain themselves that lead once again here on Towers of Doom.
They 100% got what they came for. They get the altar, they're able to back away, and now there could be a lull in the action. I think this is where Heroes Hearth wants to be. Blaze, McIntyre already rotates back up top. Sapper camps are snatched away down in the bottom lane, though. Leftovers, they're trying to play the macro against a team that they were worried about macro, controlling those Sapper camps.
As we reach a slower period, as it has been fast and furious here for both of these teams. Leftovers, they move back into position, seeing if they can get a pick, and you can rest assured Mopsio will be looking for it in every single rotation. He doesn't have to show in the lane. That's something he's doing well there, is that his team is clearing the wave. He hides in the bush. He hides around the corner, trying to come out as the boogeyman say, peekaboo, I got you. And they have that between the Gray Man and the Li Ming. We'll see if that happens, but here comes the taunt. Do they have the single target blow up right now? Not so much.
There's another story time getting dropped down. The bunker is going to save the health bars of HeroesHearth. Mopsio on the ropes is going to get taken down. It's 100 souls, reset back to 0. Link could be the target, but DAB finds himself way out in the tough spot. Oh, Rainer, Crowan is going to get blown up to silence on the Stukov, and then there's the bouncy castle, a huge stun. HeroesHearth is popping off right now.
Boss looking for any type of escape. Instead, he finds that wall. The lurking arm, or the massive shove, actually allows Boss to escape that situation. Maybe thought he could get the stun into that sidewall, unable to just clip that corner, as we're 5 seconds away from the next shrine. Remember, this is Diablo minus souls, so he has to be careful on how aggressive he wants to be at the moment.
Boss jumping back into the fray, has our defender available. Hearthline needs a good amount of damage, has to rethink his approach. Mopsio back to business already, lands a shadow charge. There's the overpower. The damage is not exactly there to follow it up. Both of these teams are trying to trade barbs, but Leftovers, they're doing this without level 13 right now. They're feeling good about themselves.
Speaking of 13, Mopsio, will we get the old devastating charge combo? That was a pixel perfect vault there by Arthon to make sure that he didn't get comboed. And Blakitny, he's feeling aggressive. They're going in looking for another fight already.
Last second gets the interrupt. There's the stay a while and listen. Bunker's going to get dropped down. Boss out in the back line, gets shoved back to Europe by BBJ Stukov. Arthon doing a ton of damage. Diablo with a full health bar looks to slow roast the low health bars of HeroesHearth Esports, but he's not able to come away with a takedown just yet.
The constant pressure. I could barely take a breath up here. I can't imagine what HeroesHearth is feeling. I mean, you walk away and they're like, look, they're going again. Boss, however, Leftovers ends up getting both the channels. Link gets tossed in. That's not where Deckard wants to be. He's able to walk away. McIntyre, however, he's going to be lucky if he can make it out. Ishbu gives him the toss back into the fray, allowing him to get to safety. But the minute one team walks away, the other team comes back swinging. This is a throwdown if I've ever seen one.
Based on these compositions, HeroesHearth seems to be fighting something of an uphill battle. They don't have that exclamation point to get those takedowns, and so far, Deckard Cain is definitely winning the war out on sustain over Stukov. Without that ability to get those takedowns, the longer as these fights wear on, you're going to see Urel in the back line. You're going to see Blakitny testing his limits against Stukov. This could be trouble for HeroesHearth.
The amount of aggression that Blakitny just opens up with on that Greyman, he's like, look, I'm not a finisher, I'm a starter. Speaking of starter, Ishbu trying to make something start. There's going to be the root set up by Deckard Cain. The taunt is there. Ishbu, he's able to walk away, but that is playmaking right there by BBJ to get another kill here. And they had that deficit early game, but you look up at that scoreboard, and it's 8 kills to 6. And HeroesHearth starting to make their way felt down here in the bot lane.
The longer these death timers are, we're going to see things exactly like this. Without 100 souls, Diablo can only watch as the bottom altar is going to get targeted. The next round shows up 3 altars. This could be a huge momentum swing, but the bunker goes down. Leftovers looking to get the party started before they show up. Can they get a takedown here?
No minions, so Arthon forced to walk away from this. Triple altar phase would have been a major advantage here for HeroesHearth going into this, but since they gave up both altars previously, they do find themselves at a 4-core deficit. As we know from European teams, most recently at midseason brawl, it doesn't matter what that core health is, it ain't over till it's 0. So this game still has a ways to go as BBJ and team, they're moving up directly to the top right. The minute Deckard shows bot lane, they know that there is no support. And there's the follow-up, the playmaking potential. BBJ, put your stamp on that kill, because that is all you, buddy.
Urel looked to get on the pogo stick, but that root from Stukov is going to be enough to net the 9th takedown for HeroesHearth Esports. BBJ casually comes away with the next altar, and they're going to be able to tie up the score 20-20. But they're kind of losing the war, in my opinion, because they're not getting the control that I expected them to see over the altars.
Oh, Arthalon, he's got himself a Li Ming. The scroll going down. DAB, he is going the wrong way home. He's not going to make it out alive. This is one of those situations where you try and take something with you, or you just die faster. And so he does end up making that decision. It's always better. You already know you need to get back on the battleground. But that death right there opens up the door. HeroesHearth, as you said, they might have been winning some of those battles, but HeroesHearth starting to win the war. Part of that war on this map is about structure control.
It may not add to a lot, but Li Ming died to Nexus Forces. I think that's denied experience from HeroesHearth. It may not add up to too much, but at the professional level, every little bit counts. Even without Li Ming, we see Leftovers quick on the draw with the macro play to be able to steal that boss, and HeroesHearth is like, oh, that's right, there's a boss on the map. Huh.
Sometimes you sneak that in. It bought enough time for that to happen. 16 picked up here by both teams. HeroesHearth looking to be the first American team of the day to go up in their series. And right now they are starting to work their way towards that. They are down in core health. But again, the structure advantage in the bot lane. You can see Blaze on the minimap while the rest of the team grabs those sapper camps. He's all about wave clear, making sure that the minions don't make it up to the fort that keep at this point so that the rest of the members of Leftovers can't get there. Leftovers do have Li Ming. Great poke potential, does have mirror ball, does DAB at 16. So the poke is there. It's just, does HeroesHearth give them the opportunities to move forward?
I thought we might see them play a bit more aggressive over this line to push these sappers in, but with the altar showing up in the top, the last thing you want to do if you're HeroesHearth is overextend, lose your hero there, and lose momentum going into the late game. But there's the stun, there's the taunt, the silence afterwards is not going to be enough to take down Mopsio. The shove onto BBJ, sends Potoboss again to the back line. Mopsio not afraid to drop the lightning breath, and the chase is on for HeroesHearth.
DAB is slaughtering. He is finding holes in that front line and nailing the back line. I don't know how he is doing it, but he is constantly finding these angles that is punishing that of HeroesHearth. HeroesHearth wanted that fight. They were willing to stand their guard, but DAB landed several skill shots in that to put so much pressure on the back line of HeroesHearth. They're like, look, as cool as this is, as much of an advantage as this is, we got what we came for. They got their altar. Some sappers, I believe, made it across on the bottom, maybe, because that was still pushing, so they have it. Now they're looking for more.
There's the Humble Bind. They're definitely going to target Diablo again,
Oh,
but
DAB.
Garrosh gets nuked right at the beginning of this team fight.
DAB.
But he's living his life on the back line, looking for McIntyre. 2 heroes down on the side of HeroesHearth, and Leftovers are not done yet. Mopsio looking to turn their attention over to BBJ, who has no means of escape. He's just kind of delaying the inevitable.
Dude, DAB, I'm telling you, this guy is an absolute killer. I love watching this guy play. You let Mopsio be the initiator, but you find that. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm watching, you watch DAB. The minute he finds it, dude, I'm telling you, I love watching this guy play. I think he's a big reason, yes, this team has come together to make it to the Clash, but DAB working his way through HGC from early this year to now, he's finding his way here as we take another look at him.
DAB is such a lethal threat on the back line, and this is another instance where we see HeroesHearth trying to blow up Diablo before the team fight even starts, but with that health pool, it's just not going to be enough, and you allow Li Ming, DAB to just blow you up on the back line like that. You cannot leave the back line alone if you're HeroesHearth. They have to shift their strategy.
Leftovers instantly turns the tide. Now they have control of that bot lane. Altar will be in this midpoint, so the point of entry for HeroesHearth, it's either coming down from top or coming through that choke point, and this is a much safer route as we see Stukov. He's back on the battleground. HeroesHearth will look to take another fight. That experience heavily in favor of Leftovers. Mopsio starting to initiate. McIntyre, the body blocks are very much real there as Lightning Breath comes out.
This is a team fight that HeroesHearth has to take before level 20 comes online, but they're not in an offensive position at all. Ishbu's getting chunked down before he even thinks about stepping in there and going for the taunt. That kind of poke from DAB is continuing to be a problem. He's completely fine over that wall. Crowan turns his attention towards the Mopsio, goes in on the Ishbu, and the root goes in, just misses. Blaze comes down, a huge taunt on the 2 members of Leftovers, but the damage isn't there. Link starts to back away. HeroesHearth are not able to get a takedown. Just,
oh, there's reset number 1. They might be looking for more. The nice body block. There's the blink into the body block onto McIntyre. He's on an island by himself. He's just going to go and try and do any damage that he can to the other side. But that is, again, another play by DAB made for that body block. It was probably all but over. But Mopsio, the aggression that he is putting onto HeroesHearth, I can tell you, HeroesHearth does not like what they are feeling against Leftovers. And they, just as much as we saw HeroesHearth having control just 2 to 3 minutes ago, Leftovers is now looking to end the game in the near future.
HeroesHearth did not expect the game to go like this. Of that, I am certain. Right now, they're down 12-5, trying to battle against Leftovers, who are definitely feeling strong. Shadow Charge goes in after the engagement. Mopsio's like, no, you asked for this, buddy. Lightning Breath is going to slow down Rainer long enough to roast him. 3 heroes down on the side of HeroesHearth. Leftovers is taking the fight right now to HeroesHearth.
This might be 6-cap potential. It doesn't matter because the main thing is double altar phase. At best, HeroesHearth can get one of these back to get that 5 shot down to 5 shots. unfortunately for them, they're sitting on 5 core health. So for Leftovers, they're in a very comfortable position to try and end this game. There's the self-cleanse, dodging that toss there on a 10-second cooldown. You best believe Garrosh steps up next to me. I'm spamming that bad boy.
Down 3 levels, down your Storm tier talents. You're about to get 6 cap, 2 altars going to be here momentarily. You only got 5 points left on your core. That is going to be quite the pickle for HeroesHearth to deal with. And with this boss getting picked up at absolutely no charge, because without level 20, just the way HeroesHearth is going there, only 1 point remaining. That's going to be tough for HeroesHearth.
Well, that's game. They 6 cap long enough to get that. So this is 4 core. HeroesHearth unable to bring it back. And so Leftovers making the play, getting the rotation. The minute they got that top one, that 6 cap was just enough. And Mopsio, boy, he is feeling it. This is a team that, we talk about HeroesHearth being comfortable. I don't know if I've ever seen a team coming out of Europe as comfortable as we see Leftovers, because when we talked to them the other day, they're just straight chilling. They are here for the ride and they are enjoying it.
They're here to have fun. They're here for the vacation. And this was like, oh, we're going to give them an early vacation. I don't know if that's going to be the case. With Leftovers showing up in this big a way with 2 players who have never seen international offline play, this team is feeling confident. They could very well be the dark horse of this tournament.
We'll see if they can continue, but before we go any further, we're going to send it back to Gillian's team so they can break down game number 1 and figure out how Leftovers took this.
Well, I think it was just with a whole lot of fighting, my friend, and especially when you got Mopsio and Diablo just smashing people into walls. Toucher, what aggression they brought.
I was very prepared to say that Mopsio got kind of bullied in the early stages of the game, but the second he was able to get online, he was getting hit by everything. Just all of the ping-ponging from Yorel, sorry, not Yorel, but from Maiev, just keeping him off the board, getting him in so much trouble. But once he was full souls in the late game with all that protection for the team, so many turnarounds came from that amount of pressure they were putting on him.
Yeah, the pressure started there, and then he would just turn around. Kala, though, I want to take it back to even the early game, because it did feel like HeroesHearth was playing into Leftover strengths. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. And it started with the draft. Banning off those heroes that command the macro presence, you know, banning off the Dahaka, banning the Abathur as well. I think that's a fantastic way to start off their series against HeroesHearth. Also, they had 5 kills, a 1-level lead at 7 minutes into the game. They're clearly satisfying their team fight style against HeroesHearth. And if they're able to get those styles of drafts and play style throughout this next game, like, they can very well beat HeroesHearth. I'm extremely impressed by Leftovers.
So what needs to change then, do we feel, for HeroesHearth then heading into the next game? Any thoughts?
Kala brought up an excellent point of the fact that Leftovers were banning out the macro heroes. So I would not mind to see them perhaps maybe focus a little bit more on that. Even if you're not going for the obvious macro heroes, maybe like a Dahaka, maybe just anyone, or just play the map a little bit differently. Don't take those big Maiev teamfight styles, even though you could give it over to your opponents, as we know they're so good at. I wouldn't mind seeing them play the map at least a little bit more.
I completely agree there. I think that if this team's strength in Leftovers is the fact that they win team fights often, why would you give them their strength? Also, you can try maybe shifting up the bans a little bit or have a different style. That's the whole point of being a great team, is changing your draft priorities depending on who you're playing against. So if they want macro presence, if HeroesHearth wants macro presence against Leftovers, then first pick those heroes. Maybe 2, 3 those heroes too. Just get those picks before the ban phase ends out.
Well, we saw Diablo be first pick in the last game for the Leftovers, and Mopsio played a fantastic Diablo, so it's easy to see why. And Mopsio is the new voice, the new very vocal voice coming to this team as the warrior player. And he talked about how important it was to have a vocal tank for this team.
And we were already, when we spoke to them as well, what Link said is that when they swapped out Lalba for Mopsio, they were in a situation where in terms of skill, they didn't feel it was that different, but they already mentioned the vocalness that Mopsio does bring to the team is such a big deal for them in their playstyle.
Yeah, you can see it there even in their play call, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the way that Leftovers perform their team fights. Like they just look like they're all on the same page. And yeah, I can't say this enough. I really feel like HeroesHearth need to try to shy away from those team fights as frequently as possible. Even though I think that they are an excellent team fighting team, why play into the strengths of your opponents? Yeah, that's basically the biggest point to be drawn from that game.
Two things that concern me that we didn't see from Leftovers in that last game, but I wonder if we will or if they've been able to work out going forward, are engagements. And sometimes when they are falling behind in a game, you can see someone, and usually it's either Blakitny when he's on his Maiev or Mopsio, get aggressive before the rest of the team has all shown up and are ready for that fight. And that is an opportunity for somebody to take advantage. But that usually only happens when Leftovers are behind. They're trying to get those fights to come back. If HeroesHearth can't get the early game, is that a big concern, Tetcher?
It could be, but I was actually quite interested in the fact that we already mentioned it earlier. A lot of the engages, quote-unquote engages from Leftovers, were counter-engages after they were engaged upon. The fact is that, like you already mentioned, works when you're ahead. If you're behind, though, then you're not going to get that counter opportunity. So I would like to see maybe a little bit more aggression coming out of them if they do fall behind. But otherwise, that was still pretty reasonable from them.
So control over the Warriors, perhaps, to try to take Mopsy off of something where he can be fully engaged on? Or do you think that there's something else? Because there was a lot of focus with the Maiev, and that being a priority pick for Leftovers throughout the phase.
I definitely think that if HeroesHearth want to try to take games off of Leftovers, I think that they can do it on more even circumstances. It's just they have to not get in their own heads and think that they have to bully out Leftovers. We've got a replay here that shows one of these team fights that I would like to show. So like jumping into this one, look at the setup here for Leftovers. It's not optimal circumstances under any condition. You know, you're fighting against your opponents who have the fort on the bottom side here. If we have a look at the way that HeroesHearth have everything set up, it looks good for themselves. And even the tether looking okay. But look at the way that Linked sets this one up. Huge combination here. The 16 from Deckard Cain. Like, this is absolutely massive. We cannot forget about the fact that Linked is like almost a carry for this team. And this was the biggest swinging point for me because HeroesHearth could have very reasonably taken this game, but this was the huge setup. Like, look at the combos coming through, the synergy from Leftovers. This is their team fight strength. Everyone ends up dying at this point. Like, this is a huge play on your opponent's fort. Just fantastic job by the Leftovers.
Even tried to drop a spray mid-fight there. That's how forward momentum Leftovers were moving there.
It's the important things in life, guys. Drop your sprays when you're getting kills. That's everything for the momentum. Next up, we're going to be headed to Game 2, and that battleground will be Battlefield of Eternity, chosen by Leftovers, a Leftovers favorite, but for HeroesHearth, it means that they give up the choice of where we go so that they can guarantee and get first pick.